Why could Captain Carter use all of the Infinity Stones at once while doing the same thing crippled Thanos and Tony Stark? The Infinity Stones are some of the most powerful artifacts in any universe, and can only be used by some of the strongest individuals in each reality. In the mainline universe, we've seen several characters struggle to harness the power of the stones, with some of them nearly dying in the process. In the Guardians of the Galaxy, Peter Quill, who is half celestial, was unable to hold the Power Stone in his bare hand for more than a few seconds without coming close to death. It was only with the combined might of his celestial DNA and the collective aid of his team that he was able to avoid being incinerated by just holding the Power Stone alone. Thanos' first snap severely burnt his arm and destroyed the gauntlet within which the stones lie, and the same happened to Professor Hulk when he brought back half of all life in the universe. These are two of the strongest and most durable individuals in the MCU, and each of them were utterly crippled by their respective experiences with the combined stones. The most notable use of the stones, however, was the snap that killed Tony Stark at the end of the battle for Earth, which was so powerful that Tony could not survive. In the season 2 finale of What If, however, Captain Carter is able to use all of the stones against Doctor Strange. It doesn't show any signs of significant struggle or lasting side effects that lasted long at all. She is able to use the stones effectively without being injured, whereas Thanos, Professor Hulk, and Peter Quill all nearly died, and Tony Stark did die. So then, why is this? What makes her experience different, and could this be replicated in the future for those that use the stones? Well, today, my friends, let's discuss a few reasons why her encounter with the Infinity Stones was different from anyone else on Earth 616. There seemed to be multiple different contributing factors that allowed her to use the stones more easily. So let's begin with talking a little bit about the vessel in which she harnessed the power of the stones compared to the other examples that we know. Captain Carter used the stones after collecting the Infinity Ultron armor from Killmonger, which was specifically designed to be able to channel the power of the stones in a much more effective way than even the Infinity Gauntlet was. Unlike Tony Stark's armor, the Infinity Ultron armor is made of vibranium, giving it the incredible ability to harness and channel vast amounts of energy at once. Vibranium is able to absorb and redirect energy to such a degree that it is one of the most effective conductors in the Marvel Universe, on par with even Asgardian Uru. Tony Stark, as brilliant as he is, never seems to have built a suit of armor out of vibranium, and the suit that he uses against Thanos simply didn't have the same capacity for energy absorption as the Ultron chassis does. When Ultron created his war suit, he was already inhabiting Vision's vibranium body, and used the stones to create a suit out of thin air. This means that he could have created it out of the material he chose from across the galaxy, and hypothetically, he could have actually altered the molecular makeup of the vibranium in order to make it even more effective. Though this part is speculative and theoretical without any firm evidence to support this idea, we do believe it's possible. It's also important to note that she can never use all 6 of the stones at the same time, and Captain Carter is limited. This would have made it much easier for the armor to harness the power of the stones without being overloaded by all 6 of them. And we can see this all throughout Infinity War. In Infinity Wars, we follow Thanos to collect all of the stones. We see that the gauntlet doesn't have any issue channeling the power of one or even a few stones at once. Thanos on some occasions used 2 stones at once without putting any strain on himself or the gauntlet. It was only when he snapped, though, that the true damage was done. After all, the stones can be used on a power scale depending on how much energy the tool harnessing them is capable of channeling. Exerting the full power of all 6 stones at the same time has destroyed every containment unit that we've ever seen, including both gauntlets and Tony Stark's armor. There simply isn't a vessel that we've seen that's capable of channeling the full power of a snap without crumbling. But Captain Carter never had this problem because she never had the need to use this much brute force and power of the stones. Captain Carter never snapped or even used the stones collectively so far as we can tell. Instead, she seems to have used them one at a time and in relatively low levels compared to what they're actually capable of. Combined with Ultron's armor, made it so that she could use the stones much more effectively than just about anyone else we've ever seen. It's also important to note that she is a super soldier, and any latent energy that leaked out of the vibranium protection suit would not have done nearly enough damage to her as it did to someone like Tony Stark. When Tony first puts the full gauntlet on, we can see that the surge of energy is coursing through not just his armor, but his skin as well. This indicates that his armor isn't capable of channeling this much energy at once, and the power from the stones is leaking out of the suit. Tony's suit is capable of absorbing incredible swaths of energy, and we even saw him hypercharging the suit with Thor's lightning earlier in the battle. This is to say that his suit is still an incredible piece of engineering, but it's still an earthly machine that simply wasn't created to harness cosmic weaponry. These burns, however, even if they were present with Captain Carter, would not be as dire because she was a super soldier, one who is naturally more resilient and has a better healing factor than the average individual. But there is still another point why Captain Carter was able to hold off the stones. A major question we have is we do not know how effective the Infinity Stones are when they are pulled away from their home reality, and we have a few conflicting accounts regarding how the stones change in different universes. What if head writer A.C. Bradley was asked about this very fact when Infinity Ultron was first introduced? Her response was that the stones were powering Ultron's suit, and that the stones themselves were not being used in their proper form outside of their own home realities. While this is the official explanation, there are a few holes in the description. During the first battle with Infinity Ultron, we can see that both him and Doctor Strange are able to use their own respective time stones in the same battle, and they both fulfill the same function. This seems to suggest that the stones can still be used for their proper functions outside of their home reality, but perhaps their power is dampened when they're in a new universe. If this is the case, then Captain Carter's stones may not have been as powerful as the stones that Tony used. Whether this final part played any significant role or not, the main contributing factor seems to be the way in which Captain Carter used the stones tactically in tandem with the armor in which they were placed within. The armor helped to protect her far better than any of the gauntlets that we've seen so far, and she never used them with enough raw power to overload the suit that she was using. But anyway, my friends, what do you think of this explanation? Do you think this explains why Captain Carter was able to use the stones so much better than someone like Tony or Thanos? And if there are any other contributing factors, what do you think they may have been? Is there something else going on here? Or does this cover exactly why these two scenarios are different? Thank you guys as always so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button to assemble and join our team, and I hope you have a great day.